Hello, my name is Peter Becker. I'm the University and Careers Guidance Counsellor here at the Prince of Wales Island International School in Penang. Okay, so there are a number of exam boards. The main ones for IGCSE would be the Cambridge Exam Board, the Edexcel Exam Board, and then Oxford AQA. Now the names Cambridge and Oxford shout out, and we think that that's related to the university, but they're not connected to the university at all. They're a business on their own, but they're focused on their origins in the publishing company that they are owned by for Cambridge, Pearson, and Oxford. So it's the printing company rather than the universities. But it does mean that would be a different focus for those. At Powys, we offer exams under Cambridge and Edexcel, and we make the choice of which courses to follow based on the exam style and the advantage the students would have in the curriculum. There are, in some subjects, slight differences in how they approach the content and the skills that are required within that subject, which advantages the student. They are the same difficulty level. So across the world, they need to be recognized as the same difficulty level for them to qualify to be the IGCSE. But the difference comes in the style of questions, which is why they are perceived to be easier sometimes, because the question doesn't seem to be as tricky. So it seems like it must be easier, but it is just more accessible rather than a different standard. So the standards are the same, the marking standard is the same as well. So throughout there's a very clear structure of how the exams are assessed. So there's no difference in that standard as it is, but students just do respond differently to the style of questions. And what we find is, looking at our specific students, we would look at the exams that would advantage them the most. And so we have a variety of that. So we don't have specific departments that only do Cambridge or Edexcel, but we focus on the subjects that are best suited and how they work with that. And teachers have the experience by being involved in those different exam boards for a number of years, and they would have the insight about what those exams look like and what the expectations are of those exams.
Do you review every year?
It's not reviewed on a yearly basis, but it is reviewed within the department faculty curriculum planning. So we have a curriculum planning department committee that looks at all the different subjects and has representation from all the subjects, and they would assess what best suits the students, what best suits the achievement of the students. So it's not what we want. The students don't vote on it at all. They don't have any choice with that, but the teachers do have an understanding of what is best and what would best suit the students' grades and their assessment. So because the subjects are very different in nature depending on the levels that are required. So it's based on their proficiency level at the time. So rather than saying their ability, because they certainly will improve their English level as time progresses, but for them to get the best grade possible at the time, we make a distinction between English first language and English second language. That judgment is made by their English teacher. And if they're coming into the school, it's done as part of their application process to assess where they will best benefit from the type of learning that they need to do. So that makes the distinction for English. With maths, they're given a maths assessment to indicate their levels, and they are then given options to continue either to work on the core level or to focus on the extended maths, where they do the further maths program. Further maths is an additional, it's a lot more focused on core pure maths, as it were, so it is more demanding. There are some students that are very capable of it that choose not to continue with that as it is not required. All they need is their IGCSE maths level, and they would be able to progress onto A-level maths with the same level of maths as it is. So our basics in maths would be suitable for all students to progress, even to do A-level maths as well. It's not any less if they haven't completed that. The further maths is just a higher level of maths that they complete, which is useful for students who want to pursue a course that is very maths based, and they need to complete that.
Will there be advantages if they aiming for like Oxford, Cambridge?
So the biggest advantage would be the grade that they get. So if they are getting an exceptional grade for maths and they're then continuing with further maths, that they continue getting A's and A stars, that's going to help them with competitive university applications. However, if they are not getting a good grade in that, then it's not going to benefit them having completed the subject. So the excellent grade is as important as completing the subject. So we have a number of options based on what the students' requirements are for their further studies. So it is possible to take only one science, and that is recommended for students that have a stronger humanities and arts focus that they would like to do, so that they still need to do one science, but they can choose which one they would do with that. They are able to take two sciences if there is a sense that they want to complete two areas and they can't decide, but they know that that's the area that they're focused on. Normally it would be physics and chemistry, or it would be biology and chemistry. It's not often that biology and physics are the two options together, but those would be possible as well. So it's up to them to look at what that priority is. They tend to take all three. If they can't decide, they would do physics, chemistry, and biology, and those three subjects are all specifically related to the direction that they're following, that they want to do. So in traditional schools, they would have called that a science stream course, where they're taking all the sciences with that, and that would be their focus. It is possible, but what we find is some of our students that want all three subjects but aren't certain of that specialization would then do the double award. So the double award is where they're doing the same as two subjects, which are 4 exams, but they're doing one part of the 3 subjects. So they're doing one exam for physics, one exam for biology, one exam for chemistry, plus then a 4th exam that kind of covers sort of the practical side of those subjects.
So if a student takes double award, can they still take science subject in A-level?
Yes, so that doesn't limit their choice, and the double award is a very popular course internationally. In the UK it's also very popular. Here in Malaysia it's not very familiar, so we often need to explain exactly the breakdown of what the course looks like, and for local universities we need to explain the content and why that would allow the same credit. So if they've done the double award, they can then take the subject at A level, any of the 3 subjects, confidently. So there'll be no problem with them continuing with A level.
But is it the other day the science teacher told me that it's like a couldn't be series, like just choosing the one subject each?
It's possible, but the concern is that if they haven't gone to that same depth at IGCSE level, then they might find it difficult at A level. So it's not, we would recommend that they take the specific subjects at IGCSE that they're going to take at A level. But credit-wise, if they do the double award, they are able to continue with it at A level as well. So what we find is, I currently have a student who is interested in doing marine biology, so where that doesn't require any physics, rather than doing the double award, which will take up those 2 blocks in their timetable, we would recommend that they rather do biology and chemistry, because those 2 subjects are going to direct them very clearly into the marine biology field, rather than doing the physics part of the double award as well, which is not necessary. So it does depend on the student's need and what it is that they want to study afterwards for us to complete that.